Good morning, YouTubers. So today I wanted to just run through how to make some shields is one, and a couple of arrows and a bow and that sort of thing, and how simple and easy it is. This is a follow-on video from making these guys, and we always put, or I always put a shield on his hands, so you can't see his hands, which makes it easier, so you don't have to worry about making one of those. So I just wanted to run through how easy it is for you and how simple it is to make. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is a shield. So my favourite shield is two-tone. So it's got, let me just show you a picture. Oh, you can't really see it down there. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. So these are two that I made for my grandson's birthday cake earlier in the year. But if you can see the shields, very simple to make and very effective, and you can do literally anything you want to. So I'm going to do this one today. I'm just going to show you how to make the rounded edges and all that sort of thing. So, right, let's have a look. So I've previously cut up some grey and brown clay. Now ideally you don't want it too thin, otherwise when you cut it, it won't have the rounded edges, nice beveled edges, because it won't have been thick enough. Just looking for another tile, but I think they're all in use. Oh well. Yeah. Right, just clear some of this off then. So we'll empty. I mean, as it happens, I think the brown might be a little bit thicker than the grey, but it won't matter. You don't want to roll these together too much, because you don't want to lose that nice crisp edges of each colour. Okay. Right, let's start with this one. That one can go over there. So just try and make sure it's nice and straight and nice and flat. Just sort of run your fingers sort of over it. And that one's got a bit of grey in that, I guess it won't matter. Okay, so this is the same as you doing your oh my goodness, I forgot what they're called now. Viking. This is the same as doing your Viking. You've just got to be clean, slow, and just keep sort of at it. Now, if you want to make sure that your shields are the right size, just find something. All I do is I go around the house, and whenever there's a spare lid, I just grab it and I pop them in the drawer, and then eventually they'll get used. So this, I just put a hole in the top so that when you push it on, in case it sort of goes up and sticks, but it shouldn't do because you're going to have cling film around it today. Right, so just start by putting them together. It's pretty much that simple. I haven't got a huge amount of grey, but it won't matter. And that one. Again, it doesn't matter if they're not all completely same size, as long as they're relatively the same size. When you bake it, it will bake together. Okay. And this one. Sorry if I'm dithery again. I'm just really nervous because I haven't made a video for a little while, and I kind of wanted to get as much information as I can in the videos for you to help make it as easy as possible. But so I do apologise about that. Okay, so there, we're going to make that's big enough, more than big enough. You'll probably get two out of that. So you're going to pop a little bit of cling film over it, like so. That was a bit of a Blue Peter moment, wasn't it? I'm afraid only the older generation will understand what I'm on about. Unless it's still running, I have no idea. Right, enough of that. So you're going to... Now I find it easier to stand up when you do this bit, because it can be quite challenging just to get through the... And then twist. And I'm going to do another one there. There we go. Oh, right, let's have a look and see where we're at. Okay, so take all this off. Try and keep the colours separate if you can, because it will mean you can use them on another day. So just kind of peel them apart if you can. With the sort of economy the way it is at the moment, every penny helps. Okay, so it will stick holes in your cling film, but if you go to like a pound shop or something like that, you can pick it up pretty cheap. Okay, so let's see if we can get these off the board. Right, when you're pulling off the board, don't do it the other way, because what they'll do is they'll squash together. Because right now, see, you've got lovely beveled edges on them. If you can see those. Very nice. Right, now I have been known to, in the past, to put these in the oven as they are. But we're not going to do that today, because I've already got a Viking in there. So you get the gist, and what we're going to do is I'm going to pull one of these off the board so you can see. So that's what you're kind of left with, is a beautiful shield like that. Okay, and then what I usually do in the middle is pop a little bit of brown clay so that you've got the middle part of it, like so. So we're going to use a... Okay, what happened to my glue? That's concerning. So we're going to pop a little bit of glue in the middle. Now you could put a brown piece and then a grey piece, which is what I'm probably going to do. But what you could do is you could put a spike in the middle. You could really have some fun deciding where you want to sort of go and how you want it decorated, if you like. But this is just one you can cut them all out in the same colour and then put spikes all round it. You can do, there's so much stuff. Okay, so there we go. So that's the centre piece in there. Now I'm going to put another one in the middle, but I'm going to make mine a spike. Okay, let me pinch a little bit of this one. That way then I'm keeping it to the right, it's not the same, well, the right colours, the same colours. But like this one is just a normal brown one. Well, it was actually a grey one, and then I put a brown disc on it, just slightly smaller, cut it out, and then I put little sort of dots all the way round, if you can see. And then I've done the same in the centre, grey, white, grey. Okay, just to give you some sort of idea, there's so many different ones you can do. If you can just about see this one here, I don't know if you can see it. That one was quarters. I did, so it would have been grey, brown, and then the centre bits on. Then that's mounted onto a grey base piece, and then in the middle it's just exactly the same, grey, brown, grey, or white, brown. I can't actually see that bit in there, so. Oh, I'm being completely daft. I could have had a look in the... Okay, let's move on, shall we? Okay, so that goes in... Oh, I was going to do a spike, wasn't I? Should we do a brown spike? So I've done a grey next... The next bit's grey. So let's do a brown spike. In a minute we're going to have a look at doing arrows and bows and all that sort of thing. So flat on the bottom and then spiky. Okay, so I'll show you what we're left with, which I think looks fantastic. There we go. So if the edges are slightly sort of rough, just very slightly, just sort of brush it. Sometimes you can do it after it's been baked, because it's just literally bits and like just the edging. It's not part of the the shield. It's what's kind of come off with the blade. So, right, there we go. So that's one shield. So when we're using that on our Viking, which we're going to do at some point, you put a big blob of pink behind it, which is skin colour, and then it fits onto the arm. So you don't ever have to make a second hand, and you don't have to worry about what's going on behind it. So, and that's pretty much how we do that. Okay, so that's a good one, that one. So let's get rid of all this. Got to keep it because I'm, like I said, oh, we could have used those actually. Oh, now look what I've done. Okay. I was thinking you could have used these for the barrels. Oh. The trouble is, I don't plan anything. I kind of just get on and do it. And sometimes that doesn't do me any good, and sometimes it does. I like to do it like that. I don't like to plan very much. Because I don't know, if you plan, I kind of feel like I forget to tell you things, or just lots of different things. So, right, let's straighten that up, because we're going to make a barrel out of that in a bit. I'll show you both the ways to make a barrel, just to give you an idea. Okay, that's it. Well, kind of. I don't know whether that bit's just too far gone. Right, so what we're going to do is pass that over and clean off our, because it's got to go in the oven. So we'll finish up off. Ooh. Okay, so this is what we're kind of looking towards now. So this is the difference. Oh, I could have just moved the tile. Okay, so I roll it out and we cut it to the correct size. So what we've got, this is a piece of tubing off of the inside, ironically actually, off my foil. So my husband's cut it to shape, but you can cut it, you won't cut it with scissors, you'll have to use a knife because it's quite thick. It's not even, doesn't sit even, but that doesn't matter. If you're worried about it, just turn it up the other way and it'll probably sit a bit better. Okay, why do I put cling film over it? Because I don't want it to stick and I want to make it easy enough to get back out or get off. You don't put this in the oven because this will melt. So what you need to do is, when you've built it, kind of ease that out and pour the cling film out with it. Another way was I make these out of foil, hence the foil, I use the foil up. And it's just solid foil, that's all. Just been rolled and squeezed and I don't know what into a little shape, because obviously their barrels were all different sizes. So again, I've wrapped it in cling film, like so, because that's how we're going to get it out. And then try and sort of put that to the top so that it's easier to pull. Right, so this here, I've cut, I basically laid that on there like that, pushed it down and it gave me the correct length that I needed. Okay, so we're going to put some glue on. Oh no, yeah, the very ends. Because I don't want it to, oh, it won't stick, will it? Because we're not putting it in the oven. Okay, just having a moment there. So we're going to wrap it round and roll it round. So it doesn't matter what the inside of the barrel looks like. It's what the outside of the barrel looks like. That's all we're interested in. Okay, so as long as it sort of sits relatively flat. I don't know whether this is even going to work with this cling film. It's very fiddly with cling film. So make sure it's sort of on the base. try and stick it together if you can, and then just kind of rub it so there's no join. But joins won't matter because we're going to put lines in it now. So I'll just make sure we put one there. I'm not liking it with that cling film in it. It's making it much harder work. Yeah, okay, let's take the cling film off, folks. Oh, okay, this isn't working. Right, let's cut that off. Right, scrap that idea. We're just going to use this directly. Now, this can go in the oven, okay? So if you wrap it round, you're happy with it, pop it in the oven, and you can pull that out after it's baked. And the same with this one. That thick rolled cardboard will be more than enough, and it should go in the oven. I will let you know on that one, so don't use it until, I could try it actually now, couldn't I? Okay, by the time we've made this little one, I'll know. So I've got it's quite cracked, this clay. So this is kind of a little bit more older than my normal clay. For whatever reason, I don't know. Right, so let's do the same as what we did before. We're not going to use massive amounts of it, so we're just going to go up here. That should be enough. And then measure it like that. And now we know how big we want to cut it. You want it to be a little bit thicker, because otherwise when you put the marks in it, it won't mark out. Right, so if we cut it about there. Okay. So we'll need to get and make it the right size. So by rolling it out like that, it just kind of gives me an idea on how big we're going to need it. If you can always try and remember, cut oh, I can't even remember that. I don't know whether it's this morning. I just can't remember nothing this morning. Okay, so that's what I'm left with. That there. Right. So you don't want to glue this, otherwise if you glue it, you'll never get it off. There we go. Just roll it on. That works a lot better. That must have been what I did. I can't remember. I do so many sculptures in a week that, and not just sculptures, I do knitting, well, crocheting and all sorts like that, and it just gets really muddly in my head. And I do apologise. So we're going to keep that as one line, because obviously we want it to look like a barrel. So I'm going to get your tool, and then you're just going to just roll it up there. Even on that joint, roll it and make it look like the rest. Like so. Like so. And just go all the way around it, because once it's been baked, we're going to put a grey line around the top and a grey line around the bottom, and that's going to be followed like with some grey studs, so it looks like how they used to make barrels, like so. So make sure it fits to the bottom. I think I've put too many lines in that one. But they always look a bit funny, and then until you all of a sudden you get the top line on and the lump of grey, and then the bottom lump of grey, and then it looks completely different. Right, okay, so that has come out and it's okay. Ow. Sorry, I've just got to... There. Okay, so that's going to go in the oven like that. Again, you want it nice and uneven. You want, because years ago they didn't have the luxury of all the things and the gizmos and whatnot we've got these days. It's relatively the right way, sort of shape all the way around. It goes down perhaps a little bit there, which I might just trim it off. Don't forget you can cut afterwards, once it's been baked. And there we go. And you can, if you take off too much, you don't put enough on, or whichever it is, you can put it back in the oven, or reclay it and put it back in the oven. So that's that. Right, we're going to make a few thin lines to go around it now of the silver. So you want them nice and thin, one for the top, one for the bottom. Okay. Like so. They might be a bit too thick. Yeah, they are. So it needs to be a bit thinner than what we've done, but I think we'll get away with it. Try and sort of keep it quite low. And fairly even if you can. It's easy to pull back and just put back on, like so, and then just trim it off. Because you want that to sit completely flush, like so. And that line you can always hide underneath one of the silver tacks that goes on there. So I usually do these and then I cut a bottom afterwards. Once it's been baked, then I cut my bottom then. Okay, when you do these, you're going to take a little bit more time than what I have. All I want to do is just show you how to do them to start with. I'm going to show you the picture in a minute that of the cake I made for my grandson, so you can just see how effective these guys really are. They look fantastic on a cake. So you could do these out of icing, that would be up to you. Right, let's just squeeze it on. Okay, so that's what we're up to now. If you can see, and already it's starting to look like a barrel, although it's uneven. Like I say, you're going to set much more care and time over it when you do it. If I just show you, where is it? Oh my goodness. There is theory to my madness. Right, okay, so that's the actual cake and what it looked like. I've got Nessie, boat, and then I made 5, I think, at the top there. See, it's got the barrels, I think, and there next to it, behind him. That's one. But if you look, there's one there with arrows in. And like I say, you're going to take your time to do those, not just sort of throw them together like I just did. And I think, see how amazing they look. They really do. They really offset. It's easy enough to do the icing. Well, that's actually butter icing, but I will show you another day on how to get that. So there's some more of the actual close-ups of them, so you can see all the hats. They look fantastic. It's just the little details like the grey bit around the wrists which hides the join. That's what they're all about really. If you can hide the join with something, it's always going to be beneficial to do that. Okay, so I just wanted to show you what they generally look like when they're done. Right, so this one we've got to put, I'm going to put little grey dots around it, which are going to be like our screws, nails is what they're going to be. So a little round dot, I like to make all mine ready to go, and then go along and do it. And then literally just going to place it on and push it down. So if you can see that, place it on, push it down and go all the way around with it. Bake it, pull this bit out, which might be easier said than done. It might take you a little bit of time to push them out, which if I remember rightly, goodness, it was only a few weeks ago I done this, but I do remember having trouble getting it out. But keep putting your tool down there and going around it like so, and eventually it will come out. But just a little bit of patience is what's needed with that. So that's that one done. Okay, so the next one we've got, let me swap my tiles over because I've got clay going everywhere. That's it. And these ones, probably have for good measure. It's great. I've got two dogs and one dog and two cats, and their hair always seems to follow me wherever I go. I was talking to the devil. One of them has just come in, and she started sleeping on top of the wardrobe. Okay, so I've done a few bits here, if you can see. So these are going to be used for arrowheads. Okay, literally I just went across like that and then across like that, and it gives you the shape that you're going to want for an arrowhead. We've got these which are just arrow the stem of it. That one's, see, easy. This is going to be a spear, and we've got a bow right here. So very simple, very easy to do. Just the straight, just the sort of shape of them. So right, let's get to it, shall we? So the bow. Let's start with that one. I'm going to use a grey. So we've got a brown arch, as you can see. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit for this. Oh, not that far. What are you doing, Lisa? Oh. Okay. Zoom you again. Oh. The trouble is these bits are so small to do. Okay, so we're going to do this one, okay? So all it is a brown piece of clay rolled and then just made a bow. Alright, and now we're going to put this bit on. I'm going to bake these to show you how to give them a really good look. So unfortunately everything is like extremely thin on this one. So start it in your fingers and then finish rolling it on the tile, like so. Okay. Like that. Right, now this is where your glue is going to come in handy. Right. So at the end of each bit, you're just going to put a little knobble of glue. Don't worry about it if it's on the tile and on the bow, because you can pull it off the tile later on. You don't want too much sort of fanning out, because it will create like a puddle, clear. Well, it won't be clear, but it'll be frosted round the edge. Right, so there's our piece of bow, very thin. Let's use our tool to get it in place, or not. There we go. So all you need to do right now, that actually looks too, there we go, that's a better bow shape, isn't it? So try and get that as straight as you possibly can, like so. And then what we're going to do is, when it comes out the oven and cools down, we're going to put some, we're going to tether the corners like it's been tied on. There you go, and that's one bow made. This is what I mean, it is so simple. You've just got to make sure that you've got plenty of time and you're not in any particular rush, and you've got to take your time and sit here with it. Right, so this is my arrowhead I made. Again, all I did was chop, and then I chopped down that one side like so, and then I just took the very bottom off there and there, but do not forget to leave it flat just in the centre there, because otherwise you'll have nothing to stick to. Right, let's just go there. Right, so this is the spear one we thought of. I thought it would make a good one. So we're going to do the same scenario. We're going to just put some clay on the end of the little brown stick bit here, and then we're just going to move that to there. Obviously make sure they size wise marry up, otherwise it will look a bit peculiar if you've got, there we go. Again, let it stick to the tile, it won't matter, but just make sure it's completely straight. Now, at times they have actually bowed for one reason or another, and they lose their sort of shape and they bow around the edges. You can straighten it out if you don't want to make another one. I mean, it's very simple to, it's not worth the aggro to straighten it. But should you want to, with the detail you've put on it, all you have to do is you kind of put something here and something here that folds it back into place. Put it in the oven, and then when it's been rebaked, only for a couple of minutes, you just need to heat it through. And then when it comes out, let it cool before you move anything, and then that should straighten it out. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at are the arrows. Let's go with an arrow. So these are a little bit different. So these are what I made like that, chop, 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 chop. And then I came along this side and went chop, 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 chop. Okay, so you can generally get a good yield out of one sort of step like this. If you look at this bit, I'm going to use one off of here. I mean, you've got plenty to pick from, so pick wisely, pick once and look good. Okay, so I've got one out, I've just pushed in my edges. It doesn't matter if it's not complete diamond, it doesn't matter. You can just sort of push the edge like so. And then you've got just, oh, a bit thrown at me, chop the very tip off, because you need that to sit nicely on your spear arrow, your arrow, it's not a spear arrow. Okay, so tidy it up if you feel you want to, like so, like that. And then I'm going to put same scenario again, a little bit of glue. Turn your tray around each time, because you rather than trying to move the clay. And always move the easier part to move. And it's not always necessarily the smaller part, because this is the smaller part, but that would be a nightmare to move. So this bit is our smaller part. So we're going to put it on there. Oh, and we're just going to push it up onto it. So that's part of your arrow done. So the next part is the bits that come out, the edges. Alright, I'm going to go for this row here. Not that I need the whole row, but let's crack it in half. In half. Right, I'm just going to cut in stripes. So just cut them in half. Now I do normally put 3 on each side. Now these don't take very long to bake in the oven. Oh my goodness, I've got bits of falling debris on me. Okay. There's another one. And there's another one. Right, so same scenario, you could put a little bit of glue at the, if you just seen what I even did there, sorry. Right, so a bit each side. Going down. And this side. There we go. Sorry folks, I had a very, very dry mouth. Okay, and then you're just gonna... This is a really fiddly job, this one, because they're so small. Trouble is, you don't want to dig a hole in it as such, because you'll make it... Okay, I didn't nip those edges or corners off, look. If you just nip the corner off, it'll fit more plush against the arrow. And do try and sort of get it around the right way. You could do them thinner if you wanted to. So it's like 2 there. We can straighten them up afterwards, that's not a problem. Oh my goodness. Like I say, this is one of my probably least favourite things to make, because there's so... Okay, try again. Sometimes if you're getting a bit agitated by something, if you go and have a cup of coffee or something like that, it may come back to it, it will perhaps be a bit better. So that's pretty much what we're looking at doing. Okay, 3 the other side. It probably wouldn't hurt to cut these perhaps a little bit thinner. They're too sort of thick at the moment, but that on both sides is not too bad. I can't think what else I needed to do. Just checking my list. The head, which is the helmet, that will be in one of the previous videos, because obviously I want to show how... I'm going to pop that in for 5 minutes when I talk about this one. I'm terrible for part baking. So part baking it should make it easier to use. Okay. So this guy's got his head now, so head back over to the other video and then you'll be able to see how to do his hair and beard. And then we'll pop a hat on him on this one, and it'll show you how to put the hats on with the hair and everything. So we've just got to wait for a couple of minutes. So I want to just talk about some of my other videos. I've got a scrapbook video coming out. We've got quite a few different videos. I've tried to do a bit of a range so that it's sort of adheres to lots of people. I was doing Shrek and Donkey at some point. I'm going to be doing them too. And when I put up pictures of the cakes I've already made, please, if you want to see me make something, pop it in the comments below and I'll have a go at doing it. Like I'm going to be doing a video on faces. I don't like doing faces. I can't do them and I struggle with them. So I do need some practice with them. So any hints and tips, please let me know on that. I do a lot of research and watch other people on YouTube which are fantastic at doing what they do. I just wish I could sort of join in with that that sort of cleverness for faces, and they're just not for me. So, right, when they come out of the oven, ladies and gentlemen, I'll sign back on. Give me a minute. Oh. Right, hello folks. Everything is now baked in the oven. So I've kept some of these out just to show you how easy these can be. Let me zoom you in a bit. A little bit towards that way. Okay, so if you bake them first and use them, that's more than happy. I mean, you'd probably find that it wouldn't be such hard work to get them to do as you want. So they break up, very simple, look, very easy. They just literally come apart, and because the clay we're using a knife, it will just go through them really nice and easily. So for using them on the bows, literally trim the end off like so, and then that's ready to be used. And the same with these, and the same with the spear. So exactly the same, and you might find it easier to do this part of it, the actual feather part of the bow. Alright, so that's where we're at with that one. So the only other thing that I like to do is, so grab your spear and any clay you've got left, which I don't think I've got any. I'll have to, let me just get a little bit out because it kind of needs this, especially as now it's been baked. You don't want too much. If it does create a frosted patch around it, just cut it off. It comes off really easily. Okay, so I've rolled out these little thin bits of clay, and then what I do is just pop them round like so. Just roll them round, and then it just looks like they've been tied on. So you could probably get it a little bit neater than me, but just for the purpose of showing you. So if you do it like that, if you can see how that's sort of rolled on, it makes it look like it's tied into place, which I think is a lovely sort of, it's a really nice finisher for that. And I do the same with that, with the bow, exactly the same. Just pop it on each corner and wrap it round. Oh, wrap it round. Oh, I haven't put no glue on it. Like so, or not like so. So again, you'd need some glue to put on the ends of that. So just a smidge, just to hold it in place for you, like that. Okay. So if you can see the end of it, and then just roll it round This is quite fiddly, I'm not going to lie. Okay, I always hold my breath when I'm doing things like that. One of these days I'm going to pass out. Right, okay, so if you can see the end there, and then if you do that on both ends, it hides the join, and it just looks really nice finish. So again, the same on the spears if you wanted to do the spears, or whichever you'd like to do. Now the barrel, which I actually forgot to pop in the oven, that's now still wet clay, but all I do is, when that's finished baking, like I say, you've got to have the patience to get the foil out, but try and keep it so that you can use it again. But it allows you to stab it out of the way. So, and then all I do is the barrel, once it's baked, I put the arrows in it, or you can put spears in it, or you can put them both in there, I guess, and it holds. But if you was to use this part and use this one, it would be much larger to hold the spears. Again, you might find it's too much and it's too long. Just cut it down to where you want it. I've got a whole roll out of my foil. I never throw things like this away. Always worth keeping for different projects and whatnot. So that's what sits in my drawer. So and that's it. Thanks then, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much. Hit that subscribe button at the bottom, and you won't miss any other the videos we've got coming, which is going to be quite a few over the last sort of next couple of months, and hopefully for the foreseeable future. And I'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.